Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 42 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. Just checking on some of my resources at the moment. I noticed I was getting a little bit low on peat, so I decided I should probably head upstairs here and turn on my peat bog control. Let the engine start running down there and pulling some of the peat out of my peat bog and sending it back to my main base. I could probably use a bit more of that stuff. So you can see it's going to start, harvesting and doing its thing. I also noticed I don't have a terribly large amount of resources. I'm not like low or anything, but a little bit low on copper, believe it or not. And maybe I should set up another quarry, but I'll probably just wind up doing that off camera because you guys have seen me set up enough quarries here. So got a couple things I want to accomplish today. So without further ado, let's get started. I did want to pop down to my nuclear reactor and see how we're making out. This MFSU is nice and full. This one's starting to fill up, and this one's still dumping everything it gets directly into this guy. If I went over here and turned this off for a moment, we could see our nuclear uranium cell thingies are kind of about halfway, maybe. So we've still got a ways to go. Get that guy turned back on real quick because all the water in there needs to keep that reactor cool. It's a big, important part of it. Gonna head back up to my base and maybe get started building something that'll help me take advantage of all that power that we've got down there. Alright, so dropping my Klein star in here, I'm gonna target ender pearls. Alright, maybe I must have forgot to reteach this guy ender pearls. But there we go. Gonna grab a handful of those guys. I want to have a nice steady supply of ender pearls, and thanks to equivalent exchange, that's not terribly hard to do. And the next thing I'm probably going to want to grab here is some wood, I'm thinking. Got some of that, so that's good. I want to teach my auto crafting system a nice little device that I want to have. It's time to start using ender chests. These things are awesome. You can see right here the ender chest recipe. It's just a piece of wool, some blaze rods, an ender pearl, and some obsidian. So why don't I get ready to teach my crafting system all about ender chests. Alright, so let's see if we can get this guy put together real quick. Just going to drop up here and teach this thing how to make a basic chest, which is a component, and my system doesn't know how to make that yet, unfortunately. And then I can get myself a couple of these guys. I'm going to need 2. Kind of had the recipe and components already. There we go. And a wrench to teach it how to do crafting pipe thingy. There we go. And then real quick, I just set up the ender chest recipe inside the crafting bench here, and I can import this guy. I believe all these components do stack correctly. Yep, yeah, chest stack, so that's cool, we're fine. I didn't have to do anything with this chest thingy. So we're good. So now I can start requesting ender chests, and that's a good thing because I'll probably be using these cool little devices quite a bit. Let's get like 4 of them for now, why not? It'll be nice to have some of them. All kinds of components floating all over the place. Nice. So what an ender chest does, basically, for anyone who is unfamiliar with this mod, I'm going to go out here and get it going right now. And I keep running over this pressure plate that I set up earlier. One of these days I'll fix it. Maybe I'll put a lever on there or something, so you have to have the lever switched in order to do it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, ender chests. So let's get some dye. I have a whole bunch of dye in here, but let's go with the cactus dye. That sounds good, just because I've got a bunch of it. And maybe I'll even grab some lapis as well. Where's some? There we go. Cool. I'll probably need a little bit more of the cactus dye. So the ender chest is really pretty neat. It's basically any chests with the same color code on the top of the chests are connected to each other. So as you can see, I've got 2 chests right here, right? So let's set up a new system using lapis. Why not? Just because it's simple and straightforward. Or maybe I want cactus green. Yeah, I want to go with cactus. I'll use the lapis for something else. So I'm going to make the color code on this guy green, green, and green. Cool. And now my green, green, green chest has a nice little inventory. And let's put, 26 wooden planks in there. Why not? I'll even put some rose red in there. Sure, why not? Okay. And now if I go over to this chest, you'll notice it's empty because the color code is not matching. But if I make this guy green, green, and green, there we go, and open it up, now both chests are open. You can see over here the chest is open. Cool. and it's got the same inventory. So these two chests now share an inventory because they have the same color code on top. And if I take the red rose out of here and open up this chest, the red rose is gone. So they're basically, you know, shared across the ender dimension or something cool like that. So what I'm going to wind up doing, pretty simple and straightforward process, is replacing this chest here with an ender chest. And what that's going to allow me to do basically is, you know, automatically receive items into my sorting system from anywhere in the world. Watch this. Let me get out my, from my green bag here, I should have a chainsaw. Good. I'm going to clip through this wall real fast and just move some stuff around. I'm going to move this thing, which is receiving on frequency 1. Let's place a... I'm trying to do this nice and quick so I don't lose any major items or anything. Frequency 1, receiving true. So now we're golden, right? And what I can do next is chop this thing off. And I should probably just pick up this ender chest, the green one, and get ready to place it down. There we go. Sweet. So now this green ender chest is going to automatically sort anything that goes into it. And I can seal this wall nice and close. Put it back to, you know, being closed like it was. Aw, how lovely is that? So now, all I got to do anywhere in the world is open up this green ender chest and place an item into it. Let's say my cobblestone. Note how it disappeared instantly. It went into my sorting system. There it goes. There's the 2 pieces of cobblestone I just put into this chest. So if I keep this chest in my inventory at all times, anywhere I'm at in the world, I can just go, alright, I need to sort some items, get rid of all some junk in my inventory, I'll just pop this guy down, and, you know, just put away stuff. So let's put some rose red in there. Let's put my stone transport pipe that I don't need. I can get rid of this lapis, etc., etc. And everything's going to go and get sorted automatically. So there goes the lapis, etc. So, pretty darn cool. I'm going to keep this guy in my, probably my green bag, along with some other cool stuff that I've got. And now that I was able to accomplish that, I'm going to be using these chests coming up pretty darn soon to be able to use up all the energy I'm producing down in my nuclear reactor. Now, if you watched last season, Season 2, you'll know that I used ender chests as a way to create Lapitron crystals. So I'm going to be doing something similar, but not exactly the same in this season. Also, checking out over here, you can see I'm trying to breed myself some more Sinister Queens. I've got an Unweary Sinister hybrid right here. I'm trying to get that, you know, breeding up. And the same over here, I'm doing Noble. So trying my best to get myself some Nobles. I did activate the redstone engines on the back there to automatically breed once again. Just going to grab myself some more Noble drones. Why not? That was my Sinisters. There's my Noble. Perfect. How are we doing over here? Any more Sinister drones? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and try and breed these guys in. So, doing my best to get myself another Sinister Queen, at least one. And I lost a queen somewhere. I don't remember what I did with it. I'm probably about to get a million comments saying, dude, your queen is at blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't think I left her in the nether. Maybe I should go check real quick. It's getting dark out after all. Pop into the nether real fast and see how stuff is going. Now, the other really cool thing about the ender chests is they will work across dimensions. So I can place my ender chest here in the nether. Oh yeah, look, I left my queen here. There it is. Alright, never mind. Crisis averted. I think I found my queen. Nice. While I'm here, I could probably stand to get a few more blaze rods. All well and good. Alright, I am going to get ready for my next build, and I'll be right back. Alright, the next thing I want to do is I'm popping into my chest here. I'm going to get 3 columns of this stuff, and I'm going to grab my transmutation table and start converting, basically, the cobblestone to smooth stone. I want to keep a lot of smooth stone in my system. Now, I could obviously have just done this with, you know, a furnace or something, but this will make it a quick and easy transition for me, just to get this stuff going. I'm going to be doing this for the next minute or two, so I'll be right back once it's done. There we go, that looks pretty sharp. The next thing I want to do is grab, probably out of here, get myself another one of these crafting pipes. And what I'm going to teach it is the way to make Dun, dun, dun. Probably going to need a few of these crafting pipes because I'm about to expand my crafting system a bit more. But right now I'm going to place this guy probably, I'm going to dig through the back wall here. Place down this crafting pipe right back here. That looks like a nice spot for it. And probably just get a cobblestone pipe or something like that to connect it to my main system. There we go. And all I gotta do real fast is open this thing up and place a piece of smooth stone in there, and that gets me some stone wafers. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is open up this thing and say that if you put smooth stone in here in the inputs, you get 2 stone wafers. Perfect. Now I'm going to be able to start automatically crafting some of the components for all those red power modules. And what I think I should do is just set up 4 auto crafting chests over here for each of the 4 or 5 different types of things. So I'll be back in a minute once I have all the components I need to do that. Alright, so simple straightforward process here. Let's go ahead and test this little guy by doing this. Remember, Direwolf always likes to test everything to make sure it's working out properly. So let's request, I don't know, like 12 stone wafers. And what that should do is grab the smooth stone that I just crafted in my chest over there, cook it all up into stone wafers, and send it straight back my way. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to see. The first thing we're going to teach this guy is that a stone wafer and a redstone equals a red wire. Next up, we can teach it that 4 of these guys and 3 of these guys equals the stone anodes. Next up, I'm going to need probably a bit more of these sticks than I've got. I'm going to need 2 of these. And for this first one, it's going to be the stone cathode. And the last guy is going to be the stone pointer, which is this. So now I can craft all the basic components of logic circuits from red power 2. And that is going to help me out a lot. So import, 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 and finally import. Perfect. Excellent. Woot. And I'll just deposit some of this excess junk that I don't need. Yeah, we're good. Alright guys, what I'm going to start to do here is probably dig a little bit into this wall, and then using my destruction catalyst, dig straight back. I want to have a little room back here that's going to be kind of dedicated to charging Lapitron crystals. Similar, like I said, to what I did last season, but probably not identical. Gonna see what I can do, see what kind of cool tricks I can come up with this season. Now, the most beneficial thing for charging Lapitron crystals is something that was added in Industrial Craft 1.7, and that's this little button right here. There's all kinds of different settings that we can do for when this MFSU has certain conditions, but there's an even better thing, and I'll show you guys that in just a few moments, but we'll get back to that. For now, I'm just going to dig out this room and kind of set up what I want to basically be a nice little, layout. Let's do this even. I'm just going to dig a little bit further back. There we go. Sweet. And let's make this room look pretty. I'm going to take this guy. What block should I use in this room? How about just all smooth marble? That might be good. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad, actually. Now, I don't want to change this block over here just because of the way that is, but, not bad. Cool. Kind of neat looking. Not super fancy, but, it's all good. Now, what I'm going to do here probably is... give me a minute to think out exactly how I want to lay this out. I'm probably going to have some ender chests sitting in here. I'm thinking like maybe one right here and one over here. That looks good. So what are we from here? 1, 2, 3, and 1 away. Let's move this one more over. And maybe this one a little bit closer. I'm just kind of spitballing here, not entirely sure how I want to design this, but for now I think that looks fine. The next thing I'm going to want to do is probably get some pneumatic tubes, and I'm going to need a couple items in this room. So maybe I'll just pick up this little guy and move him inside this room to make requesting items easier for the time being. So let me think for a few minutes about how I want to lay out this little design that I'm going to do, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so the first item I want to go over here and request, I'm going to get myself a piston, and I think I should have pretty much everything else I need. How's my inventory looking? Not bad. I'm going to get some redstone because I'm probably going to need some of that stuff going forward here. So let's craft up what's called a transposer. And boy, oh boy, I don't even remember if I've done transposers yet in this season. So let's assume that I haven't and remind you guys how they work. Transposers are a Red Power 2 Tier 1 machine. And these guys are pretty neat. They'll basically suck items up that fall in front of it and shoot it out the tubes in the back. So you place this machine down right like so. Let's put it right here. Okay, and you'll note that there's a tube coming out the back slot. And if I were to place this down on the ground not in front of a chest and you placed an item in front of it, it would basically suck that item up almost like an obsidian pipe, if you will. Now, you can also connect it to a redstone signal, and when it receives a redstone pulse, it'll suck items up from a further distance away. But by placing it in front of a chest like I have, it's going to go ahead and pull one item out of the chest each time it receives a redstone pulse. So this is going to be my chest where I keep empty Lapitron crystals. And to signify that, I'm going to put it with a blue for Lapitron, and then red. So what we've got here is the blue-red chest. Empty Lapitrons go in there, and they're going to get sucked out and placed in my MFSU, charged up, and then sucked out there and be placed into this chest, which I'm going to signify for fully charged Lapitron crystals will be blue, and green. So red for empty charge, green for full charge. Make sense? Probably. All right, so that's what I'm going to want to do there. So I'm going to drill down here underneath the ground. I'm going to make sure I've got on my inventory real quick. Let's see, what do I got in this red bag? I got some stone covers. Perfect, I'm going to need some of them. So what I'm going to do is just run my pneumatic tubing under the flooring. I could just put it 1 level deep, but I'm going to go with 2 levels just so I don't have to worry about tubes too much. We'll see. Let's go just straight down here like so. And then I don't have to worry about putting covers on top of this thing. I can just put regular stuff on top. Now I'm going to bring this guy up here, but if I connect this block here, I'm going to have that pneumatic tube connecting to the side of my MFSU. That's not what I want. So I'm going to use a red Power 2 cover here, and that's going to protect the MFSU from being connected to by the tube right there. What I do actually want is the pneumatic tube to go right like so. See how that'll connect? And that way, the pneumatic tube will be placing items inside the top slot of my MFSU. And since I have a Lapitron crystal in here, I might as well go ahead and store it in the chest. I'll put it in this one for now. I know it's empty, but I'm going to be testing this system in a bit, and I don't want to have any actual Lapitrons hanging out anywhere. Okay, so while that looks nice and sharp, and I could even cover this up and make it all fancy looking, but I'll do that in a few minutes. The next thing I need to do is have a way to pull items out of this system. So what I'm going to want to do probably is think about that for a minute. Alright guys, I popped back to my base for a minute because I needed some components to make the retriever. I actually realized I forgot one more ender pearl here. And I'm running a little bit low on the brass ingots, so I'm going to take care of making some more of those as well. If you recall, it's 3 copper and 1 tin, so I have a little bit more tin than I need in here, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'll just collect it when it's done making, and that'll get me some more brass ingots, but I think I've got enough for the build I want to do here. So first off, I need to get myself a filter, which right here, as you can see, requires some cobblestone, some pistons, some gold, a red doped wafer, which I prepared ahead of time, and that gets me my filter. And then I can use this guy to create my retriever, which you guys have seen me make and use before, so this shouldn't be anything new to you guys. But just wanted to make sure I had it going here, and I forgot iron, didn't I? Yeah, bad direwolf. Do I have any iron on me? Probably not. Let me go get some. Just leave those items laying on the floor. See, look, I don't have like a large amount of copper and tin and stuff. I need to kind of like get some more soon. I should really do that. So retriever again. Always forgetting something, aren't I? I know. There we go. Got myself, oh yeah, and leather. Retriever, sweet. So that's definitely going to help me out. How am I doing with these brass ingots? Good. I'm going to want to carry them along with me, because as you can see, I'm pretty low on pneumatic tubes. Why don't I actually just go ahead and do this? There we go, much better. Maybe store some of this in my green or red bag, wherever I store miscellaneous cool stuff. You know, now I have too many bags, I can't remember what I store everywhere. Yeah, that's my problem. I think I just need an inventory that's like tabbed or something cool like that. Oh yeah, I purposefully, and almost forgot that I did this, left a portal down in my main work area so I could get back. Sweet. So what I'm going to do here now is connect up to this guy, my retriever that I just crafted. So let's go ahead and clean up some of this flooring here. Connect that guy. And I'm going to need my screwdriver. I probably should have had this out ahead of time because I knew I was going to be needing a lot of that. So the retriever, as you guys know, when it receives a redstone pulse, is going to go ahead and pull items out of an adjacent inventory anywhere on this pneumatic tube system. Now this is not an inventory, so that's why it's not going to pull empty Lapitron crystals out when it receives a redstone pulse. It'll just simply only have access to this inventory over here, the MFSU. See? So that's the only inventory that this thing's going to be allowed to pull from. Now the other part of the retriever is that it requires power. And since I'm so deep underground, I don't have a great way to get power down here. So let's look into crafting a new item from Red Power 2, part of the latest release that allows you to create power without sunlight. And I'll be back in a few minutes once I've got all the components for that. So I'm cooking up some blue doped wafers, and you guys saw me make these when I made solar panels. They're just another one of the components for some Red Power 2 machines. And this guy is going to be able to, what I'm crafting here is going to be able to create power. Now there, I think, is a bug in Red Power 2 right at the moment, and we're about to find out if that bug still exists or not. Is this iron? Yeah, it's iron, not tin. So close to having everything I needed. So let's get rid of that tin, don't need that anymore. And I'll grab a couple pieces of iron because I had the wrong thing. So let's craft this guy up. I've got, I'm going to do it in my automatic crafting table because I'll probably have to interrupt this recipe in a moment. Unless things are working, which I believe this is still bugged. Yeah, there's a slight bug in this recipe. The recipe for the Thermo-pile, which is what I'm making right now, is exactly like I just did, but you need to use Red Power 2 copper ingots in order to craft this. Now the problem is, like that's a bug, right? So there's supposed to be the ore dictionary, and I think it was a minor bug in pre-release 4D that caused this to happen. So I'm going to put on cheat mode in NEI. I'm going to search for copper ingots. There we go. So I'm going to need this copper ingot right here, I believe. I think that's the Red Power one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to trash this copper. So that is just me compensating for bugs. And hey, look, the Thermo-pile is craftable now. Woot! So then back to recipe mode, and I was able to make that Thermo-pile. So anybody who's having a problem making this Thermo-pile, that's the reason, and should be no problem once you get that in there. So I'm going to go put away my silver, clean up my inventory, and get ready to use this Thermo-pile. Next up, I'm going to craft myself some more batteries, which as you remember is some copper and tin, and some nickelite. Now these batteries can be charged in a battery box, but I'm not going to use them for that purpose. I'm going to use them to create another battery box, and that is some iron, blue alloy ingot, which if you guys noticed, you pretty much need a blue alloy ingot for any Red Power 2 machine that uses or provides energy, and a piece of wood on the top. That'll get me the battery box. Awesome. And I believe I've got some blue alloy cables in one of these bags somewhere. Probably in here? Yeah, I do. So I'm good. Alright, now I'm going to clean up my inventory and get back downstairs. Checking in on my reactor containment field, you can see we're up to about 4,800 heat, so we're doing just fine on heat there. Nowhere near that 10,000 mark where things might start to get explodey. And now I'm going to head down here and get ready to work with my Thermo-pile. Maybe there's one more item I want to craft before I do this. Yeah, I probably should, just for completeness sake. Popped back into this room real quick. I want to grab my Klein star, wherever it might be. There it is. get this stone out of here, and let's grab 1, 2, 3 pieces of dark matter. And I'm going to recharge my Klein star while I'm here, so let's place this guy in. Thank you much. And get out my crafting table, because I want to craft myself. Dun dun dun. The EverTide amulet. I've already got the vulcanite amulet, so now I've got the EverTide amulet, which is awesome. Gotta love the EverTide amulet. It pretty much works exactly like the vulcanite amulet in that it produces water instead of lava. And it also's got a few other cool functions. It'll let you walk on water, it'll let you breathe underwater without any problems. It does a bunch of cool things, but I figured it's about time to go ahead and craft that guy. And I think I can just pop right down here, thank you very much, and go down digging underneath this guy. I'm going to go ahead and sneak down here. Not entirely sure how and where I want to do this, but I'll figure it out as I go along. So let's go ahead and get ready to use this Thermo-pile that I just crafted for myself. The Thermo-pile I'm going to place right here. That looks like a nice spot for it. Thermo-pile. And the way this guy works is with a temperature differential. Basically, you have to give it a difference in temperature for this thing to work properly. And in this case, I'm going to be using water and lava. Now, you can use ice and lava, but the problem with doing that is like ice and lava will produce more energy over time, but I think it'll eventually cool down the lava into obsidian, or it might melt the ice. So I'm going to go with water and lava, and that's going to be a pretty steady supply of power. I believe if I have the proper differential there, it won't ever overload or anything like that. So that looks nice, and I'll cover up that little lava thing, and this guy should now be producing power. And we can test that out by running up just a power line right here into a battery box. Let's get the battery box ready, right here maybe, and place it, get this torch out of the way. Don't even need a torch, there's lava here. And we'll put this guy right like so. And if we check the power level here, you can see it's starting to produce a small amount of energy. The Thermo-pile doesn't produce quite as much energy as solar powers do, but it'll run forever and never stop. So don't have to worry about darkness, don't have to be worried about seeing the sky and all that craziness. And then the final piece here is just to connect this guy like so. And we should start getting some power in a few minutes. And I'll be back in a moment or two once all the power is up and running, and we'll see how things go. And then the next thing I want to do, of course, is set up a pneumatic tube system that'll pull the items through the retriever. You can see it's starting to get a little bit of power, and kick it straight up over to here, the ender chest. Perfect. And maybe I have an idea here real quick, just to help this little system move along a little bit faster. I'm going to head back home. The Thermo-pile should be good to get things going forward, but I might want to give it just a little push to help it work out. So let's get back to our main base real fast and craft up another battery or two. Let's go to here and get 4 and 2, and then 12 of these guys, and I can craft this up pretty easily. Remember I said you can use these bluetricity battery things for storing energy and whatnot? Well, that's what I'm about to do with it. I'm going to pop out here to where this battery box is and simply place this thing right in here. And you can see some of the excess bluetricity battery power, the electricity there, is going straight into my BT battery. Awesome. That'll just help me get going. Now, charged BT batteries do not stack, as you can see clearly. And let's just head back to our main little underground area here and drop these batteries straight in here. So this thing is charging up, and you can see the retriever getting some juice, all well and good. The nice thing about BT bluetricity power is there's no input or output side. I think the basic gist of the way this works is kind of like real electricity in the real world, where it kind of tries to keep a balance of power between all the devices on the same BlueTrick system. So you can see what I did here is I changed the wiring a little bit, and it should keep the retriever fully charged and the battery box balanced. So a balance of power between the both two systems. So hopefully that's enough to keep my retriever running. We'll see. So I think we've got pretty much the gist of everything we need. let's go ahead and start doing some more work. Alright, real quick, I'm going to craft up a timer here, and that's what's going to help me keep these things running. So you guys have seen me craft timers before, nothing too terribly fancy. I just requested all the components and everything came out smooth, so that's good. And what I want to do here is basically have a timer set up so that it pulses both machines kind of at the same time. So let's try this out real fast. What I was thinking was maybe just put a timer right like... maybe down, I don't know where I want it exactly. Maybe something like this. That might be cool. Now if I make this guy, I'm going to knock these things off real quick and turn these into redstone tubes. I don't know if the timer will directly interact with it or if I will have to go with something different. Yeah, see? So what I'm going to have to do maybe is just move this out a little bit, and I'll clean all this up in a bit. But basically, I need to put down my timer again and get some red alloy wiring. And then I need to get out of this bag here some of those jacketed wires. I've only got this one for now. That should be okay. And that'll pulse and everything looks cool. Okay. Now, I want to pretty much replace everything in this tube system here up to here. So I'm going to need just a handful of these guys. 7 maybe? Probably should have counted how many tubes I had. That's okay. And before I finally connect this, I'm going to put a lever here real quick. Just get some sticks. Temporarily, this is going to be a lever, which disables this thing. So we can test it out. So now what should happen, and I'm going to go ahead and test this with some cobblestone. Place this guy in here. Did not want that to happen. Just one piece of cobblestone, please. And we can pulse this guy once. There we go. And what that should have done is pulled the cobblestone. Aha! Not how I wanted it to work. See? This is why we need to test. Alright, let me rethink my design real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so what red power does when it's sending items through a pneumatic tube system is it'll try and push the items to the nearest inventory. And in this case, I believe my retriever is currently the nearest inventory, and that's what's causing my problem. Or maybe it's the ender chest is the nearest, I don't know. But basically, I need to move this retriever setup. So that means, first off, I need to get more out of my red bag here of these blue alloy wires, and I'm gonna have to knock this guy off, unfortunately. Don't tell me he just fell into the lava. Sweet. Alright, let me go back to my base and craft a new one, because that was awesome. Alright, just got done crafting that guy. Let's head back down there now. Nice. Alright, so what I need to do probably is get this thing off of here. I'm gonna have to rearrange this network a little bit, but let's just test it out real fast. I won't do the redstone wires just yet, or will I? Maybe I will. So I'll pick these guys up. What I'm thinking I need to do here is something like this. Now I'm definitely going to want to rearrange this thing for a moment. Goodness, my inventory is nice and full, isn't it? That's why I have this nice little chest here. I can just go throw junk in it and not worry about having to hold stuff in my inventory. So for some reason I had a whole bunch of junk in here. Let's get this out. Go away, miscellaneous junk. Don't need you. Alright, I'm probably going to have to rearrange this thing a little bit. I think for now what I'll probably wind up doing is putting my timer here. Like so. Put my lever on this guy. Put this here and this thing here. That looks good. So my goal now, of course, is to get this thing to be further away. So let's do this. Place my retriever like so. Get my screwdriver. And then the regular pneumatic tubes don't have to be redstone ones anymore. Like that. Now, of course, I do need to get some power going over this thing, so let's get that happening. Just trying to be conservative about my power lines. So close. Alright, let me go craft some more blue alloy cabling. Pretty sure I've got everything I need in my network for this. Just 6 wool and 3 blue alloy ingots, which I happen to have some of in my chest back home. So that makes it easy. Had to look up the recipe real quick. And then we can run this guy right into here, and that thing should start filling up pretty quick because it's got this battery box full of juice. So that will take care of my retriever again. Let's try this whole little system again. Place a piece of cobblestone in here, like so, and hopefully everything goes off without a hitch this time. So it hits the intersection, and hopefully the... What are you doing? Alright, give me a minute. Alright, I'm still closer to this inventory than that one. So what I'm going to do now is place my retriever like so. I think I can place it right up against this chest, like that. Hopefully that is correct and won't be a problem for me. Let's get some of these cables back real fast. Try not to let too many of them fall into lava. Derpy-dur. And then maybe I can just run this guy like so. Run this stuff along here, like that. Cool. Maybe even... There we go, a lot nicer. Now with this guy, should make things a little bit better. What I wound up doing is I counted here, and look, you'll see when it hits this intersection, if you go 1 block, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the MFSU, but when it gets to this intersection, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away from the retriever. So it's correct to say that it'll go to the nearest inventory, and the retriever does count as an inventory for that purpose. So now it should have a longer distance to travel to get to the retriever. And if we try this time, I really expect it to work. Just do 1. And go ahead and hit the pulse. Boom. Should have pulled the item out of there. Coming along. Please go into the MFSU. Hooray! See? So the distance that the tube has to the nearest inventory is what counts. Next, we pulse it again, and the retriever should pull it out and zip it right along towards the retriever. Because it was the retriever that requested the item, it's going to go that direction. And hopefully deposit it right in my chest. Ta-da! Cobblestone! Hooray! Everybody's happy. So now, we just have one more piece to do. Actually, guys, we have a lot more work to do down here, and this episode's getting awfully long, so I think I'm going to wrap up right here. So this has been episode 42 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for 43 when I finish this room, and then by then, maybe my nuclear reactor will be done, and I might start working on that caustic reactor, because that's the next one I want to build as soon as possible. Let's see, how's my reactor heat? Yeah, definitely getting up there. So I'm going to have a lot of power generation with industrial craft. Going to have a lot more to do with it. And stay tuned for next time, guys. All right, take it easy.